Hello, everybody. Same hair, different room here, back at it again. Welcome back to the collective, where at least I have all my instruments together. At least I have all those here. I am Del Salvador, and this is Slipknot, the Great Chapter. It's an album. You can listen to it if you want. Um, I did, and I didn't. uh, I didn't quite like it. Now, okay, here's the thing, right? I am not a huge Slipknot fan, but I do like the Slipknot that I've heard. I wouldn't say I'm a newbie either. I don't remember basically anything, but I have heard all of Make Kill Repeat and the debut album self-title thing, and I've heard all of Iowa. I only remember like three tracks. I've only listened to the first half of A Hope Is Gone. I've listened to. I don't remember You're Not Your Kind in full, but I know I've listened to it in full. Um, same with All Hope. No, same with the newest one. The End So Far. I listened to all of that. I only remember one song. I listened to a lot of Slipknot. I just don't remember a lot of it because it's been a few years. I want to say um, maybe 4 or 5 years or so since I've listened to to any of the albums in full. I just kind of keep the same handful of songs that I like a lot, and I loop those, right. And this is one of those albums where I kept putting it off for a long time. I told myself for a lot of albums, I'll jot it down, and I'll listen to it when I get the chance. And then years pass by. That list of albums is about is a few hundred now, like 300, 400 maybe, around that, of albums I will listen to later, and it's been at least a few years for some of them. And yeah, so I heard Custer the other day, and I was like, you know what? I keep telling myself I'm gonna listen to this album, and I keep not doing it. So I went ahead and did it, and I wasn't very happy about it. I'm aware that this album is basically where people say Slipknot started to decline, and I don't know if that means they went commercial or it just actually is bad. And I feel like it's a bit of both. One of the problems I have with this album is that I feel like it's very samey. What I mean by that is a lot of the songs, in fact, pretty much all of them besides the interludes, are doing like the exact same kind of style. And because Corey blew out his voice just before this with Subliminal Verses with Duality, right? And because Joey Jordison also left the year before, right? You know, and because Paul Gray died, right? I feel like there's a lot of things happening to the band, to the people in the band, and it was kind of pushing them. It was kind of forcing them to take on a new sound. And I either think they weren't ready for it, or they just weren't able to do this new sound really well. Because the chaoticness that Joey has on his with his style, right, isn't here. And I feel like that takes away a lot. And I also feel like just in general, right, um, it's a lot of the same style of stuff. Like let's say for Iowa, right, the title track Iowa is one kind of song, Gently is another kind of song, and then Disaster Piece is another kind of song. You have these different styles of stuff, right? And on here, all the songs are kind of hitting the same notes. Haha, pun, I guess, unintentional. They're all kind of hitting the same ideas, right? It's the same style, same kind of riffs, and with that, and which would be fine. But the problem is that it all kind of melds and blends into one thing, and a lot of songs end up being forgettable. And what also adds to this is a lot of the songs don't stand out on their own. The riffs aren't as iconic. They're just not as good. The melodies aren't as good. All the things that make a song memorable, right? Sorry, sorry. A lot of that isn't here. So a lot of these songs just, I know I liked some of the songs, you know, I know for a fact that I liked, Scartastrophe, as cringy as the name is. I just don't remember how the hell it sounds. Same with ALV, and same with, Custer. The only part of Custer I remember is the chorus, because it's just a very, memorable chorus. Devil and I was also really good. And I feel like if they just would have cut down this album a little bit, they could have easily have kept the first third and the last third, and kind of cut out the middle tracks. It would have been a much better album. I feel like, the intro. I assume it's pronounced 19. In Roman numerals. XIX. That one is a good intro. I feel like the vocals on it, if I remember correctly, I feel like they don't fit insanely well, but I do feel like it works for the context of the song. It's definitely a song that they're trying to like hype you up, and so the chanting makes sense. I feel like it didn't really make sense sonically. I think that's what it was. I recorded an album reaction review to this just before this, but that didn't go too well. So now I have I uploaded it and it said it was copyright claimed, but it was still up. I couldn't make money on it. Fine, whatever, it was still up. I go and make food, come back 3 hours later, and it's blocked. So now I have to do this video again, and and I don't really remember exactly what my points were, but that video will be on Patreon for free. If you want to ever go look at that yourselves, feel free to do that. Point is, I remember I had some gripes with the vocals in the first track. Devil and I is probably the best song of the album. Man, I'm losing my train of thought really bad. I'm sorry. A lot of these songs are forgettable, right? And the lyrics don't help. A lot of the time, not a lot of the times, but there's quite a few passages or lyrics or lines, even little small parts, in the songs, right? Where they're just kind of a little overly emo and cringy almost. And I can't name any specific examples because I don't remember them, because this whole album is just fog at this point. Even though I listened to it like less than an hour ago. I think, honestly, if they would have just done more stuff and not been so one note, it would have been a much better album. Like, for example, the song Goodbye, I understand that's about Paul Gray. I get that. And it's a very nice tribute song lyrically. But the problem is, the lyrics talk about how, you're such an amazing guy, but they're being screamed, and it's just really, again, it's a harsher track. And I get it's from a place of anger, but I feel like it's one of those songs that, is better for the artist, not for the listener. It might be good for them to vent, but to listen to it, what they're saying and the sonic, sound I'm hearing are clashing a lot. To hear a lot of uplifting things being shouted at you, like you are the best person, you are worth it. It's like, it's just kind of, it's a little odd, and I feel like if they would have just done a little bit more experimentation, then it would have been a much better album. I feel like Goodbye could have been a much better song. Chords be the same, like you could have the exact same song, just flip it and have it be a ballad instead of like a heavy song. And it could be a much better song, And I feel like that's the case for this album in general, Like I said, it's all one note and stuff, right? When it comes to Killpop, one of the other big songs on the album, I just didn't like. It was not as forgettable as some of these. There's tiers, right? So there's songs like Devil and I and Custer where like they're very good. You remember them. And there's songs like Scartastrophe and ALV and If the Rain Is What You Want, where they're good, but for some reason they're just still forgettable because they're not iconic enough. Then you have songs like Killpop, where I know I liked it, I just can't remember what the fuck it sounded like. And then you have like the entire middle of the album, like Skeptic, Lech, Goodbye, Nomadic, the one that kills the least, basically the entire middle was just a slog to get through. And like, I was getting really, like, actually tired from sitting and listening to all these songs that were just the same thing over and over again and weren't really doing anything special. They didn't have any good riffs or melodies. Some got close, but that was about it, right? Be Prepared for Hell was actually a nice interlude. I like that one a lot. And then it went into, which, it goes into the negative one. But the negative one, I didn't like either. It was really bad. So I wish that would have been better. I wish the negative one would have been a better song, because that would have been really cool. But now you have this interlude that's really cool that goes into a not so cool song. If The Rain Is What You Want is actually a really, really good closer, and it actually is a better song, it's a good song and one of the better ones on the album. It's one of those songs where they actually deviate from the other stuff they're doing, so it has a bit more of its own identity, and it's just really nice song. It's a more mellow song, a bit of a creepier song a little bit, but all in all, yeah, this album, I feel like if they would have just cut out the middle, it could have been easy. Like, I don't know, like maybe a 7 out of 10 album, maybe an 8. But right now it's like a 5. Like, it's it's unfortunate. Because again, like, I know, where a lot of sentiment from this album is coming from, the Gray chapter, Paul Gray, I get where it's coming from, and again, Joey left or was kicked out or whatever happened, right, but I just feel like, they kind of fell short. And again, maybe it was, I don't know. I feel like they just weren't up to it. I feel like I said at the very start, right? I feel like they were forced to change their sound and they just couldn't do it. That's it. That's all I'm going to say, I guess. Yeah, that's it.